Hi there. So we're going to just kind of run through a case study today that's just going to go straight into talking about what's working, what isn't working, and then what do you do once your AI is working. So oftentimes everybody's kind of trying to figure out like what do we do first, but the minute you get something done and then it's working, then it's going and you kind of need to figure out what to do next. So we're going to try to like jump into that a little bit. So we're the artificial intelligence agency. We build smarter tools for smart companies. We're very fortunate. We're doing this with a lot of the biggest companies in the world, and that's very lucky. So we focus on a few things: customer experience, product discovery, and then making sense of retail engagement. So how can we take a lot of things that are happening with data, and then how can we use machine learning to make more sense of them, and then to go deeper. And today we're going to look specifically at customer service and customer experience. So with Aeromexico, they had a challenge where they were trying to communicate with their customer globally and specifically in Latin America as well, and they were having a challenge with that. So we took all the data that they had from all their interactions with their customers, and then we used that as training data alongside other knowledge bases that we have inside the company. So knowledge bases around how we understand language, how we make sense of what people are saying, how we understand context in relation to language, and then how all of that relates to the Aeromexico customer and how they communicate with their audience. This was announced at F8 last year with Facebook, but basically we got Aeromexico to 96% automation. So basically 4% of the time we can't understand what their customer is saying, and the rest of the time we can. So that 4% tends to be due to human error, where the customer isn't able to explain what they're trying to get to. They don't know what their problem is quite yet. So in that case, we bring in a human in what's called a hybrid model. So it goes to a customer service agent. The customer service agent works with the customer to try to figure out what the responses are. But this model has been really successful because we took the average engagement time for a customer speaking to Aeromexico from 16 minutes and down to 8 minutes when it's a hybrid model, when it's the human plus the AI, and then down to 2 minutes and change when it's just the AI alone. So 16 minutes down to around 2 minutes for an automated engagement. So obviously for the customer, from a time savings point of view, right there, it's really helpful. And then also, even when it's a hybrid model and we have to bring in the human, it's still a big time saving. Is half as much time for the customer. So we did surveys with everyone and we got a 4.6 out of 5 customer service score. So basically every day we're doing more surveys and seeing how the customers are enjoying the AI model, and had a really high success rate there. So that was really good. So model 1, it's working, and this was on Facebook Messenger. So that was great. And then now is, what do you do next? Where do you take it from there? So we the next channel that we looked at was WhatsApp. So with WhatsApp is huge, obviously, in Latin AM, is also big pretty much everywhere outside of the US. But we were enabled to create a conversational engagement with free text. And right now with WhatsApp, you don't really have many images you can play with. You don't have the same rich media you have with a lot of other bot platforms. So it's really important to have a really good, well-trained language model that can make sense of what the customer is saying. And in this case, we're able to get to that 96% automation. We're also able to just answer the customer's question. We're able to say, I want to change my flight. I need to book a flight. What can I do while I'm at the airport? What can I do at my destination? How can I make sense of what I'm doing? How can I fix something when something's going wrong? And that's, I think, when AI really shines, is when it can understand all the potential outcomes that the customer can be looking for. And then you train your AI model to understand those, and then also understand the way the customer communicates. So the customer can just say, I want to get this thing right now, please. And then the AI goes, I understand what the customer said. I now know all the things that I know about, all the outcomes that I understand, and then I'll introduce them to the customer and hopefully get it right. And if I don't get it right the first time, maybe I get it right the second time, or maybe I send them the 3 options and they click through. But the idea is you just work constantly to tweak and refine the algorithms to train the models with as much information as you can get. What knowledge bases can you grab that you can bring into the training of the AI to make as much sense of it as possible so you can solve that one problem? So this worked out really well. Aeromexico has been able to take this AI model and point it at all the other communication platforms they have with their customer, and it's killing it. They're getting 10 times more return on investment, more clicks, than they do from any other channel when they're doing promotional marketing as well. So because they're helping the customer with their questions, because they're giving the customer this information, the customer is relying on this channel from them to get them the information they need. They're more likely to click, and they do it 10 times as much. So if they're getting 1 or 2%, 3% on other channels, they're getting 10 times that through WhatsApp. So how does that work? So what we do is we create ensemble models. We take training data and we train through a whole bunch of different models at once. Sometimes it's deep learning, sometimes it's supervised learning, sometimes it's unsupervised learning, and we train them all in unison so that we can get to the output that makes the most sense. And then that goes through whatever channel it is you want to communicate with your audience. This is a bot that we made with Estee Lauder for Smashbox, and this is just really interesting as well because you can just say what you're looking for. I'm looking for that makeup that's sparkly but not super sparkly, and it's like dark pink. You can find that just by typing it in. So how do we make it so we're training our information that we have available that we want the customer to be able to get to as efficiently as possible? So that if the AI can understand it, then the customer can just say what they're looking for, and then they can be given the answer that they're looking for. So a quick deep dive into customer experience. This allows you to take back control of the conversation with your customer and do it where they're spending their time already through messaging or through social. If your customer can communicate with you via chat or immediately, they're twice as likely to convert. So it's just crazy conversion numbers. This also works for email, where usually they're getting a 17-hour return. Now they can get that in immediately. It's taking a hard cost that you have inside your organization and using that budget that you have available to train so that you can create this super experience for your customer and delight them. So it's kind of a win-win. And that's all the time I had for today. We have a podcast about this stuff. It's called the AI Review. You can look it up in iTunes. It's also on SoundCloud. If you just search iv.ai online, you should be able to find it. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good day.